Kuzuzampo, welcome to Bhutan This Week, our weekly news magazine program with me, Sonam Pem. Our top stories this week. 13,006 people received the Druk Gyalpo's relief Kidu in the first disbursement. Flu vaccine for all from next year. And group of students built a robot that can deliver food and medicines in isolation facilities. The Druk Gyalpo's relief Kidu granted 150 million Yutum as its first disbursement to 13,006 Bhutanese. It covers those whose livelihoods have been directly affected by the coronavirus pandemic. The Kidu provided individually will be for 3 months from April to June 2020.
Announcing the disbursement of the relief Kidu this evening, Prime Minister Dr. Lote Singh said the first batch of recipients were screened from among 18,880 people who applied for the Kidu between 14th and 23rd April. The relief Kidu will be at 12,000 Yutam each monthly for recipients of the full amount of the Kidu. The partial amount recipients will be provided with 8,000 Yutam each every month. Additional support of 800 Yutam per child per month will be granted to eligible beneficiaries with children.
니지디 미톱가 세기 차게 남이 세밀라 뒤비캅루 데타 디슐렌 테카르도 nga 다림기 뉴포세루데 nga 랑기 랑창기 데타 밥쿵디소 데타실 ngachi 디세 인더 수미기 인세 듄레 타실 오마초비기 레림지 지주 베다실렌 데미 마쇼치기 데 원법디 추첩들의 치시 이세 슈니빌라 데 대망이 망아치라 라 대망이 마베 뒤로에 데타 도마슈레 뉴포조 도 팔롬기 뉴포디 데 다레레 유르 투베스 노 듀메레 샤유라 다네베 듀베 갑루라 데 타실기 레림디 추첩디 치뱅알레 디 뉴포 미 사통치 데랑이 뇽소 짜마수베 포토블루 듀메레 샤 튀노세 디핀 투나미 세미 차기 리디기베 팅아치루 중루 깐나 요기 고kop삽레 샤 띵고세.
The Prime Minister said it will be critical for the recipients to actively seek employment opportunities. And to this end, the government, in partnership with the private sector, will also facilitate the creation of employment opportunities for affected people. It will expedite and accelerate the implementation of the reprioritized activities of the 12th plan. As of yesterday, more than 20,000 people from all 20 Dzongkhoks applied for the relief Kidu. The assessment for the remaining applicants is underway. A dedicated cell is also established under the Prime Minister's office to attend to follow-ups and clarifications from the applicants. Meanwhile, upon the command of His Majesty the King, interest waiver facility has been extended to non-performing loan accounts as well from April till June 2020. His Majesty, in a royal address to the nation on 10th April, commanded the Druk Gyalpo's relief Kidu for Bhutanese directly affected by the COVID-19 pandemic. A committee headed by the Prime Minister oversees its implementation process. This is Sringdandu for BBS News.
Flu vaccine will be made available to everyone from next year. Initiated upon the royal command of His Majesty the King, the government is currently working on the plan.
Also known as influenza vaccines, the flu shots protect against infection by influenza viruses. It was introduced in the country last year for 5 identified high-risk groups comprising pregnant women, children less than 24 months, elderly above 65 years, people with chronic medical conditions, and healthcare workers.
After receiving royal command, now we are commanded to consider flu vaccine for everyone from next year onwards, next season onwards, because flu vaccine, ordinary flu will complicate or mixed with other flu-like symptoms, like in the present case is COVID-19. Ani bulletin sa feeling ache flu vaccine the kaharo lu cover bestu bachi nej moni me se gi kaphi se shuni bila ansu kahara so ilenga gi zido se.
Besides the introduction of vaccine for all, the government informed that Bhutan now has a stock of essential medicines to last for 9 months in case the situation due to coronavirus worsens.
So even amidst a corona lockdown, we anticipate that these services will be provided to our people with no disruption. And I would also like to take a moment to brief the press here that in line with that vision to provide people-centered care, We have also stocked up all our essential medicines in all the 20 districts. So as of now, we have a stock of 9 months of essential medicines, and we are working very closely with our partners such as UNICEF to continue with the immunization programs.
Minister Dishanwamu said, in case of a complete lockdown, healthcare for the elderly population will be prioritized, since this group is the most vulnerable to COVID-19 infection. The Health Ministry, as of today, listed 53,000 Bhutanese across the country in the elderly group. This is Ringdandu for BBS News.
Even during a pandemic like COVID-19, the Health Ministry encourages parents to vaccinate their children as scheduled to reduce vulnerability against vaccine-preventable diseases. The joint media advisory sent by WHO, UNICEF and Health Ministry states that the routine immunization protects children against 13 diseases.
Bhutan has high immunization coverage of 95% for many years, and every day around 87 children get vaccinated. The health minister urged people to continue with routine immunization for their children to minimize the risks of outbreaks of diseases and loss of life due to vaccine-preventable diseases.
And we are working very closely with our partners such as UNICEF to continue with the immunization programs. So we have also had few queries as we are gearing up for the immunization week, that pregnant mothers and infants, they were saying, because of COVID, should we not vaccinate our children? So I think there is definitely certain level of fear coming to hospitals. So through the media today, we would like to request that you should avail immunization services. And if there are problems, we are happy to provide that services.
However, the ministry urges people to practice physical distancing, proper hand washing, and other health advisories for one's safety. As Bhutan observes World Immunization Week till 30th April, Health Ministry, WHO and UNICEF collaboratively continues with uninterrupted routine immunization services. The Japan Committee for Vaccines, Global Alliance for Vaccines and Immunization, and the Bhutan Health Trust Fund also support for procurement of vaccines in Bhutan. Sangichizom for BBS News.
The current coronavirus pandemic will have no bearing on the overall budget outlay for the 12th five-year plan. It remains at 310 billion Newton, although some activities in the plan will be prioritized while a few deprioritized.
Speaking at the Meet the Press session today, the Secretary of Gross National Happiness Commission said there are concerns over national key result areas of economy, education, employment and health due to the pandemic. 17 national key result areas are identified to achieve the 12th five-year plan's objective, just, harmonious and sustainable society through enhanced decentralization.
KRA 1 and 2 basically deals with economic diversity growth. So when you look at the growth, of course, we are still in a very early stage. We have a multi-sectoral macroeconomic framework coordination committee, multi-sectoral deal. So when they looked at the present situation, I think there were some concerns in terms of whether we would achieve our economic growth target. So 12 plan about our target is 6 to 7% on an average. Based on today's situation, the projected forecast is about 4.7%.
Considering the COVID-19 situation, study tours, workshops and training are deprioritized this year. At the same time, precedence is given to activities related to tourism, roadside amenities, and rescaling and improving marketing facilities.
One new activity is in terms of improvement of farm roads. So we are looking at close to almost about 9,239 kilometers of farm roads, which will be improved over the next 3 years. Total cost it's almost about 14 billion, but 14 billion probably it will be quite difficult to implement all. So in a phased manner. So immediately in the first phase, about 1,400 kilometers of farm road will be improved.
The government also asked the local governments to prioritize health and food security activities. Chingzam, BBS News.
As parents of students and private school proprietors negotiate over the payment of school fees for this academic year, the Education Ministry decided to assess whether the schools are helping students continue their education. Accordingly, it will come up with a solution. Both the parties wrote to the ministry seeking its intervention regarding school fees. The Education Ministry's officiating secretary said, although learning is not happening in a real classroom setting, teachers and students across the country are equally engaged. Amid the closure of schools, students continue their education through various platforms such as broadcast media, YouTube and Google Classroom among others.
If the school management, if they are not taking care of the students, then we see no reason why the parents should pay. But now, as I understand, that many of the schools actually are helping children learn, even at home. And if this is happening, I think there's a good reason why we should pay.
However, for students of classes 11 and 12 in private schools, the government asked the ministry to pay their fees. The payment was kept on hold until the Education Ministry received letters from private schools on their learning engagement initiatives.
We have scholarships for the boarding students and for the day scholar students. So we will deduct some percentage and pay.
As of today, there are 38 private schools in the country. Sunampem for BBS News. By now, the government has stocked up food supplies that will last for 4 months. While by mid of May, food supplies for 6 months will be stocked up and will be available in Georg centers. Besides Food Corporation of Bhutan, about 16 wholesalers are helping the government in stocking up food items.
Until now, more than 10,000 metric tons of rice, oil and pulses are with the Food Corporation of Bhutan, and an additional 15,000 metric tons of these items are on its way.
Opchi, the ma, the cheese, the zumba, the ja, coffee, the chin, the guram, the zumba, the naturagi, another machi, gallop, machi, shitingi, the kalachunigi, nalib chile, the sort of Japanese somen chile goes on the garats, the tabujinura lamba go, sekanam shinu, the disugil hentabia, the chiman, tuxachilezingi, manu, sa chikja jide chigi, that Tungin the Sugara, that Najan Bedigi, that Dato, Damachara, and the Dangor Sum Habchidi. Zonghagi tewa na kara chapsai sessionila ta nalapha ngachi gyo nalapha ta ngacha yugo nalapha te tamnigi lerim ko tsudai sessionila.
To boost food production, the Agriculture Ministry is also exploring to use 64,000 acres of private fallow lands across the country for cultivation.
The Dangba Sagi Joda dusu the Sachadi, the Lokla Chibawachin Tingen, Legime Tengagi, Yubab dusu Egypt Chapshinale, the Sagi Joda dusu the Chika, the Tundi Chapdigibe, Dangbara Konagi, Labenigi, Towa Yubachin, the D. Shungi Katula Charabedi Gibesu, Lokti Saji Lectubeni, the Adelan Dinagi Tingen Gomidisu Chapter, that Chi Shungi Katula Chapter Pisumidi, Shungi Katula Pi, the Pima Sumidi, Dengachi, that are Shungi Katula, CSI Banks, that Sudi Minu Hanale, the Kunde Ki Mapap Kitole, Kunde Lendigibe, the Labenigi, let him do the Zodi Sessionilla.
The Agriculture Minister assured people that they need not worry about the food reserve. Chingzam, BBS News.
Bhutan has been shaken up by the coronavirus, more so economically. The country's startup community is no exception. Many startup businesses dependent on imported raw materials are feeling the most impact. Many of these startups say they are currently struggling to stay afloat during the pandemic.
The doors of most of the businesses at the startup center are locked. Only a few remain going about with their businesses. These are ones who either manufacture products from raw materials available inside the country, who have stockpiled their materials, or those who are taking on other work to sustain themselves. Bhutan Essence, a tea production and packaging business, has turned to post-harvest production these days.
Nejidi tunbingi malera tenga chigi gade dadachi ngachana yumigi mangilsu lalin tabdibe te male chachedi su tunigi tichapchi seshunibi te inru mangildi te borcheto to lambe.
The day this disease spread, we tried to bring in as many materials as possible, but we did not have a lot of money and we tried to bring it before they went under lockdown. Now it's been around a month since our materials have been stranded there. We have sold off what we have here, but we haven't been able to bring in any raw materials.
Today, inside the office, the tea making work has stopped and they are instead drying vegetables.
Maragi layob nalu yumidisulu teta dijingi nifugi tamado di matumchi.
In order to continue supporting my employees and also for my business to survive, we started drying vegetables. Today our government is making an effort and asking people to grow vegetables. And since everyone across the country is also doing it, I feel like farmers might not be able to sell everything in the future. So for now, we stopped manufacturing teas and started a new project of drying vegetable, fruits and herbs.
신데 때들은 재미기 오민기 직도서 깜드베 달랭아 저렇게 함나로 들어 윤팀베 가데베가 젊메스술로 총절 탑도베가 때다 노사 안에 단데베들이 때디기 라지 베도서 주니라.
Meanwhile, some of the other businesses are carrying on with the raw materials they have in hand. They are hopeful the situation improves before their stock runs out.
Pay my employees and also I have to pay the rent. As of now, CSI Department of Cottage and Small Industry, they are following up along with us, and then last time they have been asking what raw materials we required, and they have been doing everything for us, and I hope they will support us financially to purchase our raw materials.
According to the Department of Cottage and Small Industry, there are almost 30 startup businesses registered at the startup center. To help industries dependent on imported raw materials, the government, in collaboration with the central bank and other financial institutions, recently launched the soft working capital loans. Samtin Dolkar, PBS News.
At a time when maintaining physical distance has become crucial, robots can play an important role in freeing up medical staff at hospitals and limiting the possibility of the virus spread. With this in mind, a group of high school students in the country have built a robot that can deliver food and medicine and also collect wastes at isolation facilities. This, they say, can greatly help health workers reduce contact with patients. Weighing around 20 kilograms, this delivery robot was built by 6 young technology enthusiasts. It took them less than a week to build the robot, costing them around 10,000 Newton. The boys are students of Pelkil School, Karma Academy and Jampiling Central School and have taken up the responsibility to contribute at this time of the pandemic by doing what they do best, robotics.
As we went through news, we were inspired by different people contributing for the nation in this fight against coronavirus. So we also badly wanted to do something, and after the national address given by His Majesty, we were our motivation was fueled more.
They were motivated to take on this endeavor after watching how tedious it is for health workers and caregivers to attend to those in isolation wards.
We want to substitute the simple things health workers have to do. They have to dress so heavily, so it's time consuming for them. So rather than them dressing and doing wearing all the protective gears, we could just simply send this robot, and the health workers could spend that time on other important stuffs.
They say the robot can be controlled by anyone with some basic training and can be used easily for the delivery. The robot has some interesting features such as an automatic hand sanitizer dispenser and a waste collector.
We have actually divided our bot in 4 different parts. First one is drive, and second one is to carry food, and the third one is to collect waste la. And lastly, the fourth one is automatic hand sanitizer dispenser la.
With support from DHI, the group has been temporarily given an office space at Thimphu Tech Park to work on the robot. The boys aren't sure if their delivery robot will be used in reality, but for now, their passion and enthusiasm are an indication that impossibility is just a word. Sunampem for BBS News. As per the 2019 Labour Force Survey report, last year the youth unemployment rate in the country was estimated at 11.9%, which is down from 15.7% in 2018. Youth unemployment rate is defined as the percentage of unemployed persons in the age group 15 to 24 years to the labour force, also known as economically active population in the same age group.
In terms of absolute numbers, there are 3,626 unemployed youth who are without work, actively seeking, and are available for work during the survey conducted in November and December 2019. According to the National Statistical Bureau, although no research was done on why the rate decreased, there are possible reasons to explain the phenomenon.
As per the population projection of 2017, the youth population is declining, and in 2019 labor force, the youth population has declined, and which led to decline in the youth labor force. Second reason could be because you can see that the enrollment rate for class 11 has increased in 2019 compared to 2018, and it is also shown in the education statistic of Ministry of Education, and it is also shown in our statistic as well.
She added that unemployed youth who completed class 10 declined to 11.5% last year compared to 24.4% in 2018. Last year, there were over 11,700 students in class 11, while in 2018, there were just over 8,800. Meanwhile, the youth unemployment rate for male, estimated at 9.7%, is lower than female, which stands at 13.8%. Similarly, the unemployment rate in urban areas is double than that of rural areas. Paro has the highest youth unemployment rate, followed by Tongsa, Thimphu, Pemakatsal, Sarpang, Chukha and Dagana. Punakha and Lhintse have the lowest. According to the report, the overall unemployment rate also decreased to 2.7% last year from 3.4% in 2018. In absolute numbers, there were 8,698 persons seeking jobs during the survey. As per the International Labour Organization, for a person to be considered as unemployed, 3 conditions must be simultaneously satisfied. The person must be without a job, the person must be seeking work, and the person must be available for work if given the opportunity. For an economy, a lower unemployment rate indicates growth, while a higher rate indicates a decline and its inability to absorb people of working age. Samtan Dolkar, BBS News.
With the mission to save the endangered alpine musk deer in the country, 41-year-old Bhutanese wildlife biologist Finso Tille won the prestigious Whitley Award. He is among the 6 conservationists selected from more than 100 applications worldwide this year. The winners will receive a fund of £40,000. The Whitley Awards, often referred as Green Oscars, are awarded annually to individuals from the low and middle income countries by UK-based conservation charity, the Whitley Fund for Nature. Finso works for the Royal Society for Protection of Nature, and this is his 18th year in the field of wildlife conservation.
While graciously accepting this prestigious award, I strongly commend Whitley Award for their tremendous contribution to global conservation efforts. I dedicate this award to the benevolent Bhutanese monarchs for their far-sighted vision and unwavering support towards nature conservation.
His project of protecting the endangered musk deer is located at the Lingji Park Range, a 3-day walk from Thimphu. Despite being a protected species, the alpine musk deer is poached for its musk pot.
This unique deer species is heavily poached for musk pot which is a scent gland found only in the males. It is priced more than gold in the international black market for its medicinal properties. The popular method of hunting is by laying hundreds of traps along its movement paths, indiscriminately killing several males and females from just one location. If unchecked, poaching alone can push the musk deer to the brink of extinction.
An estimated 100 deer are killed in Bhutan each year. The award money will be used to step up patrols to preserve the endangered species.
I and my teammates will be working in partnership with the park authority and the local communities living alongside the musk deer habitat to raise their awareness of the species' ecological and conservation significance and garner their support in conservation efforts, mainly to ramp up anti-poaching patrols.
Rebecca Pradhan was the first Bhutanese to win the Whitley Award in 2008. Sunampem for BBS News. Well, that's all for this week. Thank you for joining us.